Hi, I'm Eleanor Meyerhofer, a native Californian designer and digital strategist. In October of 1999, a few years after graduating from design school, I flew from San Francisco to Munich with a fistful of Deutschmarks, a dial-up connection, and an extremely vague plan. 20 plus years later, after a 10-year stint at a global agency, freelancing, and launching 2 online businesses, I'm still here. Now I'm talking to other expat business owners to share knowledge, stories, and inspiration for other non-Germans running businesses in Germany. Okay. Hey, everybody. A quick bunch of housekeeping before we get into today's episode. My husband's bicycle is broke, so I have the dog. So you might hear some barking in the background and a couple of unplanned things, but I'm just going to go with my normal modus operandi, which is done is better than perfect, and there's nothing to it but to do it. So today I am here with Tetyana Pirker. She is a wedding photographer based in Munich. And I believe we got in contact through the Women Entrepreneurs in Munich Facebook group, correct? And so, Tetyana, I'm going to start with the question I ask everybody on this podcast, which is, can you give me the 2-minute story of how you ended up in Germany?
Oh my God. I wish I would have such a short version, but I will try my best. So, hello, everyone. Great to be here in the podcast. Very happy to meet you. Great thing which you are doing. About how I ended up in Germany. So, it was actually 22 years ago. So, maybe I'm not a classical expat because I was 19 back there. And my parents decided to immigrate from Ukraine from the situation we have in terms of economy and everything. They were clearly refugees, but we were not going away from the war or something. We just thought it's a good chance. There was a program which would invite us to Germany due to our Jewish heritage, and they were over 50, they decided to move. So it's really a huge respect to them. I don't know, I'm now 41. Actually, I would love to emigrate to Australia, for example, in 10 years, but let's see. Yeah, so they did it, and as I was 19, I started to study psychology in Ukraine, but it was basically cancelled, or I stopped it, and I moved to Germany. I learned German. I immediately came to Munich 22 years ago, basically. So being here since then. Yeah, and this is the story, of course, with great support of having my family with me. And yeah, now I think they are already older, my parents, and I'm helping them one these days. But it was great decision back then. I think it's the most impact decision in my life which they took.
Yeah, there's interesting, because you rightly say you're not like a typical expat. You didn't
Hmm.
come as an adult,
Hmm.
but you were also not a child, and you
No.
also weren't born here to immigrant parents. So when you came here, could you speak German?
I could speak German thanks to preparation of a very old lady back in Ukraine who could barely speak German, as I understood later on. But she was a great help. She was classical school teacher who never been abroad, a typical
Mhm.
thing for USSR people. But she knew some kind of book German, and it was enough basically to help my family in the first days in the country, because I was basically the translator for everything, because I went to her like maybe half a year before we moved. It was very helpful. So seeing a lot of people also who are a long time in Germany without speaking German, totally okay. I love English. I would love to rather speak English all my life instead of German, I must confess. But language, of course, it's a great asset to accommodate in the country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lifelong journey with German. Uh,
I know.
gosh.
Language is not everyone's thing. It's really
Yeah.
like that. For some people, it's so easy, especially in young age. Like looking at my children, they would not speak Russian to me, even though I try. And of course, there are some people. It's very difficult to learn a new language.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I my German is fine. It's
Hmm.
actually gotten worse because we speak
Hmm.
English so much at home, and I sometimes think there is a weird challenge if you're a native English speaker, because so many people speak English,
Yeah,
and
totally,
so you
totally.
can just be lazy and get away with it so much. But
Yeah.
now I'm trying, and my child was in a Eltern initiative, and it was
Uh-huh.
bilingual, so everything was English for some, but now she's in school, and I'm trying to, like, be
Ah,
more
great.
intentional about bringing
Yeah,
more German into my
yeah.
day. But
And I
anyway.
know, and for you also weird to watch, great American movies or
Mhm.
English movies in German. You also wouldn't do that. And
No.
because I love watching movies in English, I would never switch to German. So you have really challenge.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm trying my new trick is listening to podcasts, in German,
Ah, cool. Yeah,
and what
yeah.
always really helped me for anybody who's struggling with German, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm gonna start again, young adult fiction in German. So, like, I read
Ah,
the entire Twilight series and Hunger Games,
okay.
'cause that's a comfortable reading level for me, and it
Yeah.
just gets my brain back into German, and they're easy to read.
Hmm.
But, okay, that's your little tip for the day, everybody
Yeah.
listening.
Everybody
Um
listen. Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, so you have let's talk about your business. So you've got a photography business. Tell us
Hmm.
about how you started that business and
Hmm.
what you do.
Hmm. Actually, as I already said, I studied psychology in back in Ukraine, and then I studied. I was keep studying, basically in Munich. I completed it in Munich University, and afterwards I didn't know what is exactly is my passion. What should I do? I tried several things, and still I must confess, I'm working 20 hours as employed at the company, and doing IT consulting as someone who is employed at the company. But 5 years ago, I discovered photography, and it was really love at first sight. I completely immediately understood it's my thing because you don't feel time passing by. You are like, if you're doing that, everything, nothing else matters. Like you could do that, the world would fall apart. You would still be shooting your wedding. And yeah, 5 years ago, I became sidepreneur, I think they call it. So on the one hand side, I'm still employed in the company for 9 years, and
Mhm,
I don't feel like quitting it. But since 5 years, my photography business is growing,
mhm,
and I think it's a great, probably it's a breach. One day I think I will completely go into photography. But as long as I have little kids, and as long
yeah,
as we had Corona time,
mm,
we have a very changing business environment at the moment with all the online marketing and everything. And I feel like it's a good transition. Some people would say, no, jump in the cold water, do it. Otherwise, it always will be just a Nebenjob, just a
mhm,
side job.
mhm,
But I think it should fit to your personality. I'm for sure not the most risky and adventurous personality.
mhm,
So that's why I took this chance to still be doing what I was doing, which also satisfies some sides of my, requirements, analytical thinking and stuff like that. But growing on business is so interesting. But each day I'm shocked how much you have to learn each day to just keep swimming. Like, you learn about taxes, you
okay,
learn you learn about how to build your web page.
yeah,
A very good topic, right?
yeah,
Huge topic. You learn about Now I'm learning about SEO, and especially Meta business manager ads, so
mhm, yeah,
online marketing. And it's never like, oh, it's running, I'm done. It's never like
mhm,
that. And on
mhm.
the other hand side, you have to be creative, you have to look for customers, you have to be a networker. I mean, how crazy is that? As the employee, you just have to do one thing, and the rest the company is doing for you. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and full transparency, I'm struggling with this with myself right now. I feel like I have 47 different Baustelle right now because I'm switching CRMs, like my automation tool, and it's
Mhm.
really a mess going from one to another. I have a Steuerberater, but I was looking at the apps, but now I think I'm just gonna keep paying the Steuerberater because
Yes,
online
yes.
businesses are so complicated with all the Stripe and
Mhm.
PayPal, and there's no tool that really understands that for German taxes. I could go on all day about that.
Yeah,
I
taxes
like
is
the
one
marketing and the
word.
acquisa, but it's like you have to do the thing you do, like design or
Yes,
photography, plus run your business. And
everything else.
a friend of mine, he's German, but he has several startups. His mother's American, but he grew up here. He
Uh-huh.
once said something to me, and I think about it every day. He says,
Uh-huh.
"Germany wants you to be an employee."
Oh yeah,
And it's
totally,
like,
totally.
there are days where I think it would just be easier to go get a job
Yeah,
and just not
totally,
have to deal with any
totally.
of this. Yeah.
I have a coach in photography who already helped me throughout all these years, especially if it's about photography. Like before I was photographing a huge wedding, I needed some preparation with him. I'm also photographing sometimes, employees of Siemens or Allianz, which is a good money income
Mhm,
also.
mhm.
And I love any kind of photography, but my passion is really weddings. But he told, actually, even he, who is for me someone who reached so much, he has also his online academy. Even he sometimes, in some struggling times, he says, I think I will just leave it all and go and be somewhere a team leader. I will
Yeah.
just apply for something, at least for a year. I need a break.
Yeah, it's good to know everybody has those
Everybody,
feelings.
yeah. Yeah, Germany wants it to be applied. Yeah, interesting. I don't have experience from other countries. How is that? Of course, but yeah, I can imagine, especially huge topic, Datenschutz, huge topic,
Yes.
so data protection, huge topic, taxes. Yeah, it's a respect to everyone who is still growing their business and even hire people. And even only now I understand how challenging that is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, but let me ask
Mhm.
you you brought up a couple of things. So,
Mhm.
first, the side hustle part of it. I just out of curiosity, how did you okay, weddings you can do on the week they're usually on the weekends, so that's why that works.
Mhm.
But did you have to get permission from your company or
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yes. Permissions are everywhere. Yeah, I got an official permission to have this side job, and they checked that it doesn't affect my other job as IT consultant, and they completely allowed it. I think it's okay as long as the hours in photography are not exceeding the hours in the other job, but don't ask.
okay.
Okay, so and yeah, it's completely okay, and they even supported me. I have a great company. They, as I said, guys, LinkedIn is not made to be cyberpreneur. You just can be one. You cannot do on LinkedIn, I'm 50% this and 50% that.
Ah, interesting.
No, you
Interesting.
cannot, but they should introduce it. It's like in the HR world, because I'm working, yeah, in SAP HR in my other job. They call it, yeah, you can have as many assignments as you can. Also in a company, you can have global assignment and local assignment. So I think we need to become, as the world of workers and of professionals, they need to see that the person is not one or zero. Person can be
Mhm.
very, a rainbow of
Yeah.
things which you do, but you cannot. But they supported me, and they said, oh, Tetyana, go ahead and make a post that you are doing a side job basically as a photographer, and mention that we as a company are not against it, and
Mhm.
it's really something good for them and good for me,
Yeah.
so it's great.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, as a photographer, don't you I would guess that your main channel would be Instagram, especially
Of
for
course,
weddings?
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Instagram, but it's very interesting topic. I think you would love to, also elaborate on it. There are two types of approaches. One very strong one is website and SEO, right? And
Yeah.
Google Ads. And the other one is Instagram, Meta ads, Instagram
Mhm.
and Facebook, right? It's interesting. So I think you can compare it. I studied psychology, right? Maybe I copyrighted, but you can compare it to, how do you call it? Introverted people and extroverted,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
So if you love to expose yourself, you show videos of yourself, you show reels, you have time for that, you have energy for that, you have inspiration for that, and you don't think, oh no, I have to go on social media again, and then maybe the world of Instagram is the one for you. If you are actually an analytical person who works more with numbers, and you say, this is my years of experience, this is how many weddings I made, this is my, then maybe the Google world is your world, and you should more work on your blog, on your portfolio, on your website,
Mhm.
um, and deep dive into SEO. I think that it's crazy to try to do everything. Like, it's really crazy.
Oh,
Then,
yeah.
I mean, even one of them is already wow.
I just think for my kind of go-to advice is for local businesses, SEO. I'm starting to tell people, especially expats, like, unless you have a very specific niche, don't try for SEO because you're just not gonna
Hmm.
be able to rank. And with Gen AI, all this, it's just gonna be harder and harder. But I do think that's different if you're a local business because people are like, I need a wedding photographer in this area, and then you can use Google Business Profile, and then you have like, whereas Instagram, it just, yes, you have to be there and show you have a portfolio, but it seems like people will see you, or I guess there's hashtags, but
They do
go
not
ahead.
work anymore. They do not work
Okay.
anymore because they keep inventing, I mean, now it's very angry message maybe, but I think Instagram used to be great because you used to show your work yourself.
Mhm.
You got visibility and everything. Now they completely moved into this world of ads. There are
Yeah.
so many coaches trying to teach
Yeah.
you how to do these ads. Even I am now learning that. So if whoever has questions, I'm now freshly learning. I will start my first ad today probably.
Oh,
So
wow.
feel free to reach out because I have a feeling people sell to us something very complicated for thousands of euro, which at the end of the day doesn't work for many people. I don't know. Will it work for me? I don't know. But now everything goes into this paid ads, and, and
Uh-huh.
and you feel trapped. Like you also have to do that, but everyone is now doing that. So what will be your difference with everyone else? As someone who is engaged, you will go on Facebook and you will get 10 advertisements of Munich photographers. I mean, in
Uh-huh.
this case, I would feel like leave me alone. I will go on Google and look for my
Yeah.
photographer myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So, I actually used to work in the wedding industry, or my first business, I did wedding printables. It was like pre-Canva, and I was already here, and in those days, and I don't know if this still works, there used to be like, well, okay, there was Pinterest, but there was
Pinterest.
also directories were really big. Do those still work? And sometimes even when I'm, like, trying to find a photographer in a certain location for a client to do, like, a branded shoot, I will go to the, because it's off season during the week, a lot of wedding photographers also do branded shoots, and I'll
Yeah,
try and
totally.
find wedding directories. Is that still
I don't think so. Never heard of that. Wedding directories. There are some there are some wedding planners who do the apps who help couples to plan the wedding,
Mhm.
and they have the database of photographers.
Right.
I don't work with that. I don't want to be in a pool with everyone else being compared.
Okay.
So yeah, I will still try my best with a little bit of SEO, which I can. I never will be number one in Munich, never ever.
Mhm.
It's clear. But what I see working, and I don't know what's technology behind this, Google Maps, the ratings. So if someone in my area, like north of Munich, is looking for a photographer, I might pop up on Google Maps, because I have very good ratings. I have like
Mhm.
60 5 stars ratings. I heard 5 stars is not even optimal. It's better to be 4.8
Oh, g
because 5 stars are not that unbelievable, basically,
Yeah,
not
okay.
realistic. Okay, so this is where, and now I will give you one advice which I never gave away. But if a wedding photographer or any photographer would love to shoot in a particular location, go and rate this location and upload your pictures. This works crazy.
Wait, so go to Google Maps. You
These
can
are
do
all,
that?
yes.
And
Well, you can do this is actually Google Business Profile, and many
right.
people say that Google Business Profile will become more and more important in the
Yes, I
next year.
agree. I
Yes.
agree.
So people don't want to go on the website, they don't want to go on Instagram. They see Google Business Profile,
Uh-huh.
see pictures, see good reviews. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's, I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of can replace it. Again, I think that works for local businesses where you
Local
need to
businesses for sure.
get your hair cut, hire a photographer, that kind of
Totally,
thing. I have
totally.
a
You're
profile.
right.
I just did this with a client in Berlin, and she focuses on functional health, and I was like, "You need to go reach out to your clients, have them leave you reviews, all because it's, like,
Totally,
local."
totally. Yeah. And it's connected to the website, right? I mean, you can
Right.
have it without, but normally it's connected. Yeah, but now in terms of looking for a wedding photographer, yeah, I would know how I would do if I would be a bride to be. There is so much. and how to take a decision. I maybe it's even spontaneous, maybe because of ads, but personally I ignore the ads and I want to look for someone by myself.
What about networking? I saw where did I see it? On some platform I was on. There used to be, and it's still apparently here, it's called, like, the Munich Hochzeit meetup?
Ah, yes. I organize it. I organize it together with another very experienced photographer.
The couple running it,
Yes.
and they got huge. They got absolutely huge.
I mean, I don't know whether we talk about the same event, but on the 10th of April, like in 5 days, there is a big event called Munich Wedding Meetup.
Right.
Munich Wedding Meetup. It takes place in a new, basically, it took place in passing all the time, but now it's new location. E-event it's called. And yeah, if anyone is interested, if anyone is from the wedding industry, reach out to me. I will provide you all the details. It's already in 5 days. And there will be all the wedding, how do you say, Dienstleister, all the wedding professionals,
Vendors.
yeah,
Yeah.
vendors, mostly photographers. And the
Mhm.
good thing about this event is that it's really, you will find the best Munich photographers who charge 10,000 per wedding there.
Mhm.
And it's great for newbies, to network, to ask, maybe they can support somewhere, to just exchange the contacts between planners and photographers. There are a lot of starters and a lot of very experienced people who are in the industry like for 20 years.
Okay. Yeah, when I went, I was one of the it was mostly photographers, but there were a few invitation designers, and it was a
Mhm.
couple. They were Austrian. I
Ah, yes,
forget.
of course, Carmen and Ingo,
Yes, Carmen and
they
Ingo, that's it.
they will be there
Yeah.
on 10th of April. They will be there. Last time they were not, but they will be there. I will see them for the first time. There are two couples which are very famous in
Mhm.
this area. One is Carmen and Ingo, and one is Julia and Jill. And they kind of like they rule the whole industry in Germany. And of course,
Mhm.
it's more for destination weddings.
Right.
It's more to come to the next level. I am a totally different kind of photographer. I love local Munich urban
Yeah.
weddings, which are more, intimate and more like not 12 hours, but more
Mhm.
like 6 hours. So I need to find my niche because I have two children. I cannot be absent all
Yeah.
the weekends. And I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I love to have a couple of huge weddings in a year, but I would never do book my whole year with the huge weddings or destination weddings. No.
Yeah, when this was, maybe 2011, it was a long time ago, and they just started in, like, a cafe, and then they started bringing people over, and this is, like, when Jasmine Star was coming up and getting and it was kind of before the whole online thing exploded, but they totally
So
rode the
cool.
wave.
Yeah, so cool. Maybe you want to join us and and come join us on 10th of April. This would be cool.
Maybe it's another life. It's been so long since I've done any wedding
But
stuff, and it was
what you are doing is totally important also for any wedding vendor, right?
yeah, I suppose so. I suppose so. Yeah,
Totally. Mhm.
I didn't think of that. As long as they're an expat. Um, okay, so other questions I have. So I mean, you also mentioned that you do business events and you got like, how did you so you built this business, how did you as a side hustle,
Yeah,
like a lot of people would be happy to take, be the photographer for an event at Allianz. How did you start getting
totally.
clients?
Oh my God, it's a difficult question. I think what helped me is for sure. First of all, my husband who took the kids each time I had a job, but even before how to get to that. I think for sure Instagram helped me a lot without any paid ads. So
Mhm.
really being building trust, talking a lot about what I'm doing. A
Mhm.
lot. Asking people, telling them what I want. I want to be photographer. I want to do that. I mean, this really it doesn't bring effect immediately, but it works. It just works.
Mhm.
Being good networker and also for sure having my big network in the business life where I am consultant.
Mhm.
So all this support also from my colleagues, and I think also my coach, my photography coach Vitaly, maybe he will listen to that. And yeah, he did a lot for me, of course paid, but also
Mhm.
a lot unpaid. He has this number one podcast in Germany for photographers, and I
Ah,
just
okay.
reached out to him one day. It was many years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I just I love podcasts, participate and listen to them. Thanks to everyone who puts the knowledge out there,
Yeah.
thanks to you and to him. And I just reached out. He was so friendly. We immediately started talking. Once I started to earn money, he always gave me this trust in yourself.
Hmm.
You can do that. You can do that. I will give you a couple of advices, but you can do it with your personality. And each time for the next bigger job, he prepared me. Each
Hmm.
time I was not sure. First time, and and one day a woman called me, who is the friend of my husband from Austria. And she said, Tetyana, could you imagine? I work in an agency. Could you imagine to photograph an event with women? By the way, also takes place 18th of April in Werkstatt Mitte, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
Osbahnhof there. A huge event, Female Future Festival.
Oh, I know that
Um,
one. Yeah.
yes, it's already third year that I will be photographing it.
Yeah.
So she asked, and I'm like, no way, no way, I can't do that. How many people? 700? No, no, I'm already getting sick from talking to you about that. Please, no. And she's like, try it, try it. And then I
Okay.
talked to Vitaly, and he said, go do that.
Yeah.
Crazy. And of course, this event, it's like, it spreads like fire. If you
Mhm.
deliver good pictures, people use them for social media. And you always need to go extra mile. Like people were writing me in the middle of the night, oh, do you have this one fresh picture for me? I
Mhm.
want to create a post. I know a lot of photographers who would say, no, you didn't pay me for that.
Mhm.
And it's not my working hours. No, you have to go extra mile. And you do that if you burn for what you do.
Mhm.
If you do it for money, you would probably say, I switch off my phone for the night because I sleep.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at some point, you wanna get out of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
In the beginning,
Totally.
you gotta hustle and
Totally.
and
Totally. Yes.
and be scrappy, I think, for
Yes.
sure, especially in that industry where it is, like, photography and posts and everybody's just trying to do everything. But so, when you said your colleagues at the IT company helped you a lot, were you just telling people, "Hey, I'm doing this now," or, like, how did you get the word out?
Yeah, I see a lot of people who do not speak about what they do. Like, for example, now I
Mhm.
photographed in Austria a book writer. She wrote a book together with her mom. She's a great also sidepreneur because
Mhm.
she works in a big company as the in biotech industry. And she also has two kids, and our kids are friends there where my parents-in-law live. And I'm like, someone told me you wrote a book. Yes. Why don't you tell me? You need pictures, you need photos, you need an Instagram. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Who do you think will buy your book? There are 1 million books out there. She's like, okay, let's do that. I mean, we need to. It's a difference if you are stalking someone or if you are too persistent. Of course not, but
Mhm.
we need to talk about what we love. And if we talk about what we love, people will trust us because it's not just let me take your money
Mhm.
and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
talking a lot about that, yeah.
when you're a business owner, you have to get really comfortable with marketing and sales, or if you're doing any
Totally.
kind of project or putting anything out there, like, you can't just, like, hope people will discover you
Yeah.
magically.
And I have an issue with, doing too much advertisement, like real advertisement, like.
Mhm.
But I don't have an issue to tell people about what I love. So I rather
Mhm.
talk a lot, even with neighbors, with, everyone. You never know where the jobs are coming from.
Mhm.
Produce your business cards, have them always with you.
Mhm.
Just think about that. There is so much information in the world at the moment. If you don't talk, no chance. No one will
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. So I know we're running up against the time you have, so I'm gonna wrap up with the last
Mhm.
question, which is there anything you wish you knew before you got started or any advice you'd give to somebody starting?
Mhm. So advice for sure. Make sure you get the basic skills you need for this job. Like in my case, I immediately took 300 euro and I made a great photography basis course, which gave me everything you need to know before you start. Then it's about practice, practice, practice. But you cannot practice without some basics.
Mhm.
If you build websites, make sure you do a course. It doesn't have to be 1,000 euros where someone promises you to make an expert out of you. No, you will be expert with practice. But to invest a little bit to get the basic knowledge, perfect. This is the most important thing. Without it, I couldn't start it. If someone would like to have this link, it's great also for hobby photographers, for everyone who wants to work with manual mode of cameras, professional cameras, and it's not expensive. It's great. It's an Austrian online school where 10,000 of people already went through. And then, of course, as we said, talking about what you love, talking about that. Don't be afraid to take your first money for a job. Don't be afraid. Probably don't run and photograph a wedding, but you can go and photograph someone in case they don't like. You can repeat, you can redo something, you can redo. But don't be afraid, even 50 euro to start with something.
Mm-hmm.
And then go step by step. You don't have, sometimes you get this pressure to start it. I need to have everything. I need to have my website perfectly done. I need to have my Steuerberater. I need to have go step by step, watch YouTube videos. You don't need to pay expensive courses. Do basics first, like for photography, register your Kleingewerbe. Tell your employer. Reach out to me if you want to hear about first steps more, but those first steps, you'll find them if you look for it. But don't be under pressure that you need everything. No, we start step by step, and we get the customers we need, and then we go and develop ourselves. Don't think, as you said at the beginning, done is better than perfect. Funny enough, it's the absolutely favorite phrase of my photography coach. So I think I sympathize a lot with people who say done is better than perfect, because we need to learn from what we do. We just need to learn.
Yeah, good advice. So where can people find you, Tetyana?
Yeah, on Instagram, of course, if you look for Tetyana Pirker Photography. And my website is very easy. It's www.tetyanapirker, written together.de. So it's very easy, and feel free to reach out for any questions, for anything. I'm very helpful, and it doesn't cost anything.
Okay, we'll put those in the show notes.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on
It
today. It was
was great.
great meeting you and chatting with you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day and keep in touch.
Thanks for listening. You can find this episode and all other episodes of the Germany Expat Business Show at my website at www.eleanormeyerhofer.com/podcast. That's www.eleanormayerhofer.com/podcast. See you next time.